Once again, this is Professor Khan with you from GDPI.in. It's a small initiative taken to help millions of students across this country to grow, groom and garnish themselves. So as I said from the beginning, we are going to start our lesson. Today we are going to start the lesson GDPI lesson number 1. You will be getting through mail every 2-3 days of time to understand about the subject, and you will be able to interact with me through webinars, live, group, even you can call me and connect with me. A small initiative to help to millions of students across this country to crack in GD and PI. I have seen in my 30 years of my career, most of the time students are very good, they are meritorious, but when the time of interview comes, they get stressed, they are not in a position to talk, they are not in a position to discuss, they get frightened and they feel very embarrassing situations. I hope this kind of initiative which has been taken by GDPI.in 2 months of time, you are going to learn so many things in a very user-friendly module which will help you to enhance your inner potential so that you could able to compete, conquer successfully, be it in a campus or in a corporate level. Because most of the time, students are not aware of skills. Trust me, soft skill is equally important as good as your hard skill. And it has been seen in Harvard University, most of the time you get your job and promotion not because of your skill and knowledge. You get because of your attitude. And your attitude decides the altitude of your life. So here in this GDPI.in, it's a free online certifications course. You will be getting a lot of modules from me, maybe 20-30 numbers. There will be a lot of examinations will be there, and thereafter you will be connecting with me also personally. And without taking much of your time, let's start today the lesson GD1. So every time you'll be getting GD1, GD2, GD3. Likewise, you'll be getting 14 to 15 lessons from GD. Thereafter, we will have an examinations, and on completion of examinations, you will get online certification from GDPI.in. And I hope if you have any queries, any doubts in your mind, feel free to call me, connect me, so that together we can grow for a greater cause. So let's start today. GD lesson number 1. Today we are going to learn what is called GD. 2. What are the different 8 personality skills usually observed by the interviewer, and what are the 7 myths about the GD. So once again I repeat, today we are going to learn what's called GD. Next, what are the 8 personality skills usually observed by the interviewer during the group discussion, and third is 7 myths regarding GD. So here we go about the GD. Basically, there's a difference between a debate and a discussions. When the discussion takes place with a group of people, that group could be 8 to 10 or 15, and the time allotted 10 to 15 minutes of time. It could be a structured or it could be unstructured GD. That's you don't have to bother. But during this GD process, there are a lot of misconception is been prevailing in today's time. Let me clear your misconception so that you would able to easily discuss very successfully, effectively with the leadership quality, so which is highly essential. So this is one of the process of tool, rather it's a best tool to study the behavioral as well as attitudinal response of the participant. Most of the time we cannot able to justify by seeing your certificates, by seeing your marks. But when you work in a group, when you talk in a group, it reflects your personality, it reflects your behavioral skill, it reflects your leadership skills. So that's what most of the companies, they are more interested in your holistic development rather than your certifications. You may be very good at your domain, but if you are not able to express your view, express your critics, express your compliments, so I think you are not in a position to work in a good corporate. So any good corporates, before they hire you, they are looking for a 360-degree approach of a student so that you would able to easily cope up with them and you can become an asset for the organizations, not the liability. So this is all about the GD, and let's come to what are the 8 personality skills judges by the person who is taking the interview. Believe me or not, even if you are not aware of the GD, once I start teaching you all these small 8 different personality traits, you can develop yourself during the course of time, maybe in a span of 6 months or down the line 1 year, 2 years, before you complete your subject of masters or management or any of the graduate related courses where you want to compete and conquer in today's time. So the first thing the person looks, you should have the ability to work in a team. There's the number one important things when you're working in a corporate. I'll tell you one thing, 90% of the company in today's time are corporate. So they are looking a person who should work in a team, because there's a saying in English, together everyone achieve more. So keep it in mind, the first important thing when you are discussing among the group of people, you should take their consideration so that everybody feel happy and they should praise you, appreciate you with your kind of quality you do carry within yourself. Number one. Coming to number two, it's a communication skill. Trust me, lesser the communication, higher the confusion in life. You should have an ability to connect with the people, talk with the people, so that they can understand what you're talking about. It makes some sense and it will make a constructive discussion at end of the discussion point. So it's a very humble request to you. If you're not in a good communicator, we'll give you some of the tips in the later course where you can able to develop your communication, especially your English communication, because it's a completely myth in a lot of students those are coming from the vernacular medium. I've seen practically, they find a little bit of difficulties. It's not that they are not able to compete, but with the due course of practice and everything, you could be able to overcome that communication problem. Trust me, it's not a big problem, it's only in the mindset only. So communication skill is very, very important, which has been judged by the interviewer. And the third is the listening skill. Most of the time we talk and talk, but listening is a powerful skill, so that's what's rightly been said. The more you listen, the more you could be able to reproduce. Sometimes we don't know about the subject, so try to be a good listener. So once you start listening, you can be able to understand what I want to speak at this moment of time during this discussion. So these are the good quality of a person. You should be able to be a good listener. So listening skill is very, very important. The next one is reasoning ability. You should have an ability for reasoning yourself. Why you're portraying the subject? What is the reason behind it? What is the logical sequence behind it? So if you not have the analytical bent of mind, if you don't have a problem solving attitude, probably that reasoning ability may not come to your mind at that particular moment of time. But trust me, during the course of time, when you start debating the subjects, if you are not able to speak, after 6 months, 7 months, you all can speak, you all can debate, you all can discuss on a forum also, but it depends on you how you practice the things. And the next one is the leadership quality. Everyone is looking for a leaders nowadays. You may be a born leaders or you can be a leadership quality during the course of your studies, but it depends on your individual characteristics. So start developing a leadership quality where people will appreciate you, people will really admire you, the kind of quality you do carry within yourself, and you get a lot of respect and accolades from others, which takes the company or an individual to the next level when you start developing yourself as a leadership quality. So these are the small aspects. Once you add on these things to your individuality, so it will take you next level along with your domain knowledge or the subject knowledge. The next one is a behavioral skill. Sometimes your body language, sometimes your non-verbal communication speaks a lot. So when you're working in a team, you should know what's your eye contact, you should know what your gesturing posture, you should know how to look at the person, you should know how to smile. These are the small things matter the most. So I request you should take care of your behavioral skill. And all this what I am teaching at this moment of time, maybe after completion of my theoretical classes, you will find 2-3 wonderful videos amongst the students, and there are a lot of completions are there, and you can easily be able to understand what do you mean by behavioral skill or a leadership skill or a listening skill or communication skill or work in a team skill. You will easily judge. Once you watch 2-3 video of mine from GDPI.in, you will be able to understand which student I am going to pick or which I am going to reject. So right now, don't get too much of pressures, just enjoy these video sessions. So these are the qualities is expected from the candidate. And the next seventh one is a creativity. You should have a creativity bent of mind. Whenever you project yourself, when you talk yourself, you should have a clear-cut projectivity in your mind. And the next is undoubtedly that's a confidence. If you don't have an ability to confidence yourself, you don't know how to talk yourself, you don't know how to promote yourself, if you don't know how to discuss among a group of people, that means somewhere some problems lies with you. So these are the behavioral skill or a soft skill which need to be developed, which need to be harnessed in due course of time, so that you will be able to compete with others and people will start admiring you. So these are the basically myths, tips, personality tips which is being judged by the interviewer. The next one. What are the myths? Most of the time do's and don'ts are there. So today I'll talk about a myths. There are 7 myths are there. So you should take care of the myths. The number one myth is you should be aggressive. Please, for God's sake, don't be aggressive. Be calm and composed. Whatever you want to express very freely. so that people will understand you. So once you become an aggressive, that speaks of your attitudinal problem, and people will understand you. Your voice, your tone, your modulations speaks of so many things. So you should not be aggressive, you should be calm and composed, because it's a very formal kind of discussions where people want to debate, people want to discuss and come to a particular solution. So keep it in mind, you should not be aggressive. The next one is, people say when you start speaking more, you will get selected. Please, it's absolutely me. Whatever you know, hardly will get time, maybe 2 times, 3 times you will speak. So that's more than enough. So you don't have to speak on and on and on. So take care of this. And people are always there, favor. If I speak in favor of this, I will get selected. Please, it's nothing like that. It's an absolute myth. There are certain topics are there. If I say pink, I think you will not find, a favor or something like that. If I see India in 21st century, you may not be able to understand whether I should favor or against. So how you project yourself, whether it's a favor or not in favor, that's a different things. But whether you have a logical reasoning to that or not, whether you have the stuff to promote yourself or not, and to put forward your views or not, that is very important. So it's a myth when you speak in favor. Next, you should cut down your opponent. Most of the time people say, what I'm telling, I'm the best, I know everything. So people having I know attitude is really a problem. And they want to back on with others, and they want to count down. Yes, majority of the people said, I know the best, so I must got selected, or I must get selected, I'm sorry. So what I wanted to tell you is, so you should not cut down your opponents, listen to them patiently, so that people will start appreciating you with your listening skill. And the next one is, you must make others agree to your points. You are not a political leader, so you should shout and you should say that people should vote me, or what I'm telling is the right. So don't do such kind of thing. So you should not make others agree to your points. Let them put forward their points on their own way, and you have your own points to put forward. So let the individual judge. But what are the things they will judge? As I said you in the beginning, they will take care of ages. Next, you should be an individual speaker. Here you have not come to as a debate, because it's a group discussion, so you should not speak as an individual speaker. Let everybody speak, let everybody be a part of the discussion, because it's a group effort, so that everybody can be able to put forward their views. And the next is, you should project inside. Never ever project yourself side. You project in a normal way, so that everybody will understand you have the quality within yourself. So you are not imitating anybody, you are not portraying somebody. As a normal human being, you feel that yes, I am quite good enough. So this is all about today's lessons. So I am making you very clear. I gave you 7 myths, which is very, very important, and I make you 8 personality skills just as during the GD. I hope you have enjoyed my first lesson of GD number 1. Wait for my second video. Till then, take care and goodbye. Bye bye. See you next time very soon. Bye bye.